Good morning, guys. This discussion is brought to you right here in the office, which is the only office in my house, Long Road Records and Entertainment. Anyway, welcome to Songwriter 101 Plus. Discussion for today is going to be about making a demo for your song. Now, I realize that some of you watching this video are not even close to that point of songwriting yet. That's okay. We're still going to discuss it. There's a lot of important information that one day, hopefully we can get you to the point where you are making demos of your songs, demonstrations of what your song is, your song idea. Now, first thing is your song's got to be tight. Good, great. Like it's got to be good and great and whatever before you make a demo of your song. There's a process that I follow every single time when I am testing a new song. That is specifically this. I write the song. I rewrite the song. I take it to a coffee shop or a open mic night, and I sing the song for people, and then I do it again, and then I do it again. And the reason why I repeat that is because not every time you play that song for the first time are you going to get a very positive response, because people are trained to like songs that they've heard repetitively. Okay, listen to country music radio. You know, you've got to get that song out to the ears of listeners, and you've got to repeat that process to start getting them to be like, oh man, I've heard this song before, start, familiarizing yourself with it. Now, that being said, on a very first go, you will know whether or not that song is ready for a demo. And here's how. You evoke the emotion, okay? Laugh, cry, dance, all right? Laugh, cry, dance. If anyone in the audience comes up to you after you've played your song and they say, that song made me cry, or somebody gets up and starts dancing, or you make somebody laugh, okay, then you've evoked an outward emotion with your song, and that is a wonderful sign that your song has done something for someone's life and is possibly ready for a demo at that point. Now, let's go ahead and specifically address some questions. I want to thank Mary Hill for this topic of discussion, if I haven't done that already. So let's go ahead and get started in diving into her question specifically. It says, so I really want to know how to choose the right demo studio. Number two, can I use a demo studio if I don't have any music behind my song? I have lyrics and a melody, but I can't play an instrument. Okay, let's address that first. How do you choose the right demo studio? Okay, choosing a demo studio is like going to a restaurant, okay? You walk in, you like the ambiance of the restaurant, feels good. The people who greet you, they're friendly, okay? They're ready to serve you. It's clean, okay? The staff is nice to you. They don't walk up to you and go, what do you want? Okay, that's a great way, all right? Reputation also, you can check out reviews online, see if they have any reviews. Talk to the producer who's going to be handling your demo. Is he a nice person? Is he ready to help you figure out what your song and how your songs feel is going to be the best? That kind of stuff. It's very important that you have your lyric and your melody set and it's tight. Okay, but once you bring that to the producer, is he friendly and willing to help you and passionate about making your song something larger than life, that kind of thing. So it really is. It's just like going into a restaurant. You're going to check out the reviews online on that restaurant. You're going to check out you're going to go in, you're going to see, hey, you know, this place clean, friendly, whatever, and that they are ready to serve you and make sure that you have a great dining experience. So, so that's really how you're going to, you know, check out your studios and that kind of stuff, different studios and different options. But here's another thing too. You don't necessarily need a studio, okay? You don't necessarily need an expensive Nashville studio to go in and be like, hey, I got this song, I want it demoed. And sometimes that's not even the best option. There's so many times that I've heard over the years that, you know, it's a song mill, okay? They have no connection to your song. They certainly don't have the passion for it that you do. It's just another number. And I would avoid that. I do. I don't do that. Like that's certainly not, my songs are important to me. And if they're important to my fans, then they need to be important to the producer. They need to be important to the musicians that are on that demo, if that's the case. It really needs to make a difference to the person who's going to be producing that demo. So a lot of times, you know, I will go to an independent studio, you know, someone maybe a little less popular, you know, that kind of stuff, where they're not so busy that you're just another number. So that's kind of a little bit of feedback about that first question. Can you use a demo studio if you don't have music behind your songs? Yes, absolutely. You need two things. You need your melody and you need your lyric, and it needs to be tight. Okay, it needs to be good. Great. It needs to be great. If you're going to spend money on a demo, your song needs to be great. And if you have the ambition of pitching that song, it needs to be really, really fantastic piece of work. If you're doing it for yourself and you're demoing it for yourself to get out to your fans or possibly distribute digitally, you know, it certainly needs to be a very wonderful melody and needs to be a wonderful lyric. And there's other ways that you can check that stuff out too. You can get an evaluation on NSAI, Nashville Songwriter Association International. When you're a member, you can pay for a song evaluation and get some feedback about maybe how your song can be stronger, that kind of stuff. And so, but the job of a demo studio is to create these elements for you. So, you know, as long as you have your lyrics, as long as you have your melody, they can help guide you in the direction of how you want your song to ultimately sound and feel. So they can walk you through, you know, drums, and they can, or other percussion, tracks that you might need, and they should be able to produce tracks, that kind of thing. And then find out what instrumentation is appropriate for that particular song. Whether it's guitars, or maybe you need a horn section, or you need background vocalists, or, you know, whatever, sound effects, you know, whatever it is, there's a million things. But if it's just a basic demo, you know, typically, like, you know, when you want to hear what you would hear on stage, you know, with just a normal band, you know, a producer will be able to help you with, you know, getting guitar behind it, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass, drums, fiddle if that's necessary, you know, whatever the instrumentation should be. A producer should be able to guide you in that right direction to put layers under your song to create a full demo. It really, let me pause for a second and just say, really depends on the function of what you're trying to do. Okay, if you're trying to pitch this song, is different than if you're just trying to get out there for popularity and awareness, or if you're, you know, because sometimes, you know, you could just skip the demo, save yourself some money, and just do a full production on the song if it's actually that good of a song, and you're trying to cut it for yourself and things like that. So it really just depends on what your goal is for that particular song. So there's another question here. It says, will they take songwriting credits if I don't have any music behind it? Okay. A songwriter is a lyricist, and a songwriter comes up with the melody. Okay, so a musician, like, that's it. So if you have the lyric and the melody done, nobody can take songwriting credit from you if you don't give them express permission. And that express permission come in a letter, email, text message, whatever it is, but it needs to be express permission, and it needs to be registered. If your song if your song is a complete idea, it should already be registered with a PRO. Your PROs, performance rights organizations, are ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and that's it. So they should be registered with your PRO. If you don't have a PRO and you're trying to demo songs, you're skipping steps. Okay, so register with your PRO, then register your song with the PRO, then you go get it demoed. And definitely don't be releasing stuff out into the public as far as demo quality and stuff like that without having it registered with your PRO. If there's more questions about that, please let me know. Again, it's definitely an advanced topic, but we're going to talk about it if that's what needs to happen. So short, simple answer to your question. No, they will not take a songwriting credit unless it is given to them by the songwriter or the songwriters who originally sat down and wrote that song. Now, if you're just taking lyrics into the studio and you're saying, hey, I really need a melody behind some music, whatever. Yes, in some instances, you are asking them to be a songwriter. So unless they are a songwriter, work for hire, and that it absolutely has to be, there's work for hire agreements you can find online, okay? Easy agreement, super simple, basically says they are working for you in exchange for most likely money, okay? And they have absolutely no claim to the ownership, to the copyright, to the master of that song, okay? But sometimes if you're walking into a situation and you say, hey, I need, somebody to create a melody for this song, melody and lyric is the song. So sometimes it'll be like, yeah, but we want a songwriting credit. And if you're okay with that, great. If you're not okay with giving credit away with your song, then walk away, finish the song idea with another songwriter, okay? Someone who is good at setting melodies, someone who you like, part of your community, whatever, and then go back to the producer, go back to the studio when you have a complete song idea, lyric, melody. If I do have music, will they take songwriting credits? Okay. In different genres, things work a little bit differently, okay? In pop and hip hop and things like that, sometimes the producer is creating tracks and beats and things like that, and is essentially writing your song for you to layer lyrics over, okay? In situations like that, it really depends on the producer. Some of them will say, I want to be listed as a songwriter, meaning that they are being granted a songwriting credit of your choice. Songwriting credits can be either Nashville style, which means that any songwriter gets equal split. So if it's just me, I'm 100%. If it's two songwriters, 50-50. If it's 4, 25, that kind of thing. So, or typically in LA, they'll basically be like granting out small percentages or large percentages based on how much they contributed to the overall song idea. So, make sure that detail right there is always discussed with co-writers of a particular song. All right, before the song is created, okay? You do it Nashville style, which is even splits, or you do it LA style, which is granting percentages based on how much somebody contributed. But typically in country music and, various genres like that, the answer is no. If you have the lyric and the melody already set and there's not going to be any changes to it, they are work for hire, okay? And remember that, work for hire. And an agreement has to be signed. Please, 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 please do not be one of these people who thinks that everybody's just nice and a handshake agreement is good enough. Or I talked to him on the phone and they sounded really nice, so I don't think I need a contract. I don't think I need paperwork. Don't be one of those people. Please protect yourself, because, you know, if that song does anything that generates any kind of money, you're going to have a problem on your hands. And a mound of other possible issues. Number 5, how exactly does the process work from sending them a work tape to finished product? Okay. I'm glad you used the term work tape. A work tape is basically like a guitar vocals, and it can be taken, it can be a vocal recording on your phone, or any other medium, but it is rough idea of the song. Okay, that is called a work tape. It is basically an initial recording of your song idea. Okay, which typically, to do something like that, you need to have words and a melody. So once you have submitted that work tape, the producer is going to sit down and go, okay, well, here's the feel I have of this song, and he's going to start creating a drum track kind of thing. And then he'll send it over to you and be like, does this have the right feel and that kind of stuff? And you'll give the thumbs up, and then he'll move on to other instruments and that kind of thing. Now, if you've put some thought into the actual instrumentation of your song, then 100% share that along the lines, and you can be as involved in your demo process as you want. Okay, but that's typically what will happen in building music behind your songs. Now, I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit there. The first thing that you have to do is talk to them about how much they charge. Okay, what the paperwork is. Okay, you know, because there's got to be paperwork. You know, you don't want anybody trying to take credit for your song, so you need to make sure there's a work for hire agreement in there. You should probably check out some other work that producer has done to make sure that it even sounds good. Like, you know, the sound quality is commercial. You know, and after all the pre-production is done, okay, then they're going to move into actually making your song, and that right there can be a very fun process, and you can be involved as much as you want to. So to basically recap that question, do not send them a work tape first. First, pick your studio, pick your producer. Make sure that you like them in the studio that they're going to be in. Get all the paperwork done, okay, and the pre-production. Once you have submitted your work tape, you're going to sit down and listen to it, and they're going to go, okay, well, here's an idea that I have and that kind of stuff, and get a kind of basic layout and take some notes about how you want your song structured. And then they're going to start going into actually making the tracks and hiring the musicians and, you know, that kind of stuff. So once they've made the tracks, once they've hired musicians and all of those positions are filled and they have everything that they want to put into that song, then they're going to go into a mixing process. Okay, so they're going to start doing all the mixing on everything, getting the levels right, getting the panning right, blah, blah, blah. And then then they should make sure that they're referring to you every step of the way, saying, hey, do you like this so far, whatever, and you're going to be like, yeah, or no, something needs to change. And they're going to go back, revisit, and then once all the mixing is done and you love it, then they're going to go into the mastering process. And the mastering process is basically putting the final polish and the final touches on the recording and on the mix, so that way it's a finalized product, okay? And when that happens, you have a master. Once it is all done, you have what is called a master recording. And the paperwork that you sign before any of this process gets started should state very clearly that you, as the songwriter, or songwriters, if you have a team, are the owners of the master, and that they don't own anything. Okay, they don't own songwriting, they don't own the master, none of that. And the paperwork should state that very clearly in a work for hire agreement, that they have zero ownership of the song, the lyric and the melody, zero ownership of the master, period. There's all kinds of agreements out there. There's anything that you run into that strays away from what I just said and you need some guidance, I'm right here and I've dealt with it. Okay, so to break that down even more simply, pick your studio, make sure there's paperwork, send the work tape, pre-production, recording, mixing, mastering, bye-bye, okay? How much money should I expect to spend on a demo? You know, honestly, you can spend $1,000 on a demo. You could spend less. If you run your songs through a song mill, most likely you could probably spend less and save a little bit of money. But a lot of times you have very talented people in your community who have the ability to make you a very, very nice sounding demo, and it will cost you a lot less. Why? Because they don't have an expensive studio to run. They don't have massive amounts of overhead, various other things. I use my buddy, my lead guitarist, my music director, a guy with over 15 years experience in production. I use him, and he does an amazing job. And we've done Tonight I'm Drinking Alone. That's a full master. We've done also some demos that you can check out on gregwhitejr.com/beer-got-me. And those are demo quality recordings, okay? They are not something that I would digitally distribute because they're not complete yet, okay? But the idea of a demo is just having the idea of your song expressed in a way that gets the point across, okay? Depending on who you're pitching it to, some people might want to hear a complete idea. Others might want to, have some room left for creativity. So it really just depends on who you're pitching it to. If you've developed those relationships to even get it pitched that artist or whatever it is, whatever the opportunity is for. So it's really important to know the mission of that song. My demos are not complete. They are complete lyric and melody wise, and a lot of times we put instruments behind the songs, but it's just enough production to get the point of the song across, so that way we can possibly pitch it to a producer who might want to cut it or whatever, or pitch it to a manager, or pitch it to an artist possibly, whatever. It's just a little bit, it's much better quality than a work tape, but it's not quite at the level of what I would consider an album release master, all right? So, and depending on the person that you're asking, again, you want to make sure that all of these things that I've said previously are taken care of and squared away, paperwork, pre-production on your song, that kind of stuff. And that you actually like the person, and that maybe they're your friend, maybe they're just an acquaintance, that kind of stuff. But they charge a little bit less money. Between $25 and $50 an hour for an independent producer, someone who's just mixing and mastering in a bedroom. $25 to $50 is pretty fair, but you're going to come across people that are a bit more expensive. The best thing that I would say is figure out what budget you have for demoing a song, and find somebody who will do a quality job that sits within that budget. There are many, many, many talented people out there that are not so busy that they can't handle your project, and they are not they're not relying on that project for paying their bills and stuff like that. Maybe they like you as an artist, maybe they like you as a songwriter, maybe they just like you as a person, and they're willing to help you out and give you a deal. You know, it really just depends, and you want to fill it out. But again, the same process with everybody does apply. Just because they're your friend doesn't mean that you shouldn't fill out a work for hire. Okay. Again, if any money comes from that song, they can, you know, cause problems for you and that kind of stuff. And you just want to avoid all that. Like right at the beginning, nip it in the bud and be done. Any warning signs of a bad studio? I would say it's exactly like going into a bad restaurant. A bad studio, you can't talk to the producer. I mean, that's like saying, that's like going to a restaurant and requesting to speak to the manager and the manager's not there. You know, that doesn't make any sense, right? They are not willing to modify things for you, okay? And I'm not saying you should be asking for a bunch of free stuff, but if you're the paying customer, they ought to modify things for you the way that you want them. Just like if you don't want anchovies on your pizza, they shouldn't put anchovies on your damn pizza because you're the one paying for the pizza. If the staff isn't friendly, if the place isn't clean, like, I mean, really just the nuances like that depend on you. But, you know, here's one huge thing, right? If there's no reviews on the place, I would be a little skeptical, but it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. If they won't let you listen to past projects, deal breaker, right? Because how do you know how your project's going to turn out, right? You got to be able to show you. It's like going into a tattoo gallery, you know? You can go into a tattoo gallery and you're going to find an artist that you're like, hey, I like that guy. I've looked through his book. I've seen this past work that he's done. It's fantastic. The line work is great. The coloring is great, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I want to work with that artist, right? Same thing with the demo studio. You should be able to look at past projects and listen to them and make sure that you're like, oh, man, that sounds fantastic. My song could sound like that? Hell yeah, let's work with that producer, you know, that kind of stuff. So I tagged Rob Shaffer on this live video, and I did that twofold. He's a wonderful producer, a very friendly guy, and he may be willing to take on your project. Can't really speak for him, but you can click on his page, send him a message, and let him know that you're looking for a producer to cut a demo. And you can talk with him about pricing and stuff like that. But the guy's a pro, and he's a part of my community. And that's what I'm creating here, a community of people, songwriters, producers, artists, whatever, that can help each other and collaborate. So that is a perfect example of what I'm trying to do here. And Rob is a resource that you can, potentially use. And what was the other one? Just had my brain just went. All right, so I said it was twofold. He's great, professional. I'm trying to run back through. And maybe it's just because I've worked with him and he's fantastic. He listens to what you want. He actually cares about your song, and if it's a great song, he's going to put the effort into it, that kind of thing. And that's what I suggest you guys make sure. I hear it all the time, guys. I do, and I really want people that pay attention to what I'm teaching to realize this. There's a lot of people that pay a lot of money for demos on songs that weren't ready. You know, they're just, you know, maybe they're not great ideas, you know, in general. They're not very commercial. They are not ready for the opportunity that they are looking for. So it's very, very important that you identify what you want your song to do in the end, okay? Who do you want that song to be pitched to? What opportunity do you want that song to be pitched to? Do you want it for licensing and sync? Whatever it is, if it's for you, then you know, you make the decision on whether or not that song is ready for your audience. But please, please know what you want to do with that song and make sure it is ready, okay? There are thousands, tens of thousands, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on songs that will not accomplish the mission that the songwriter wanted for that song because it was not right for that opportunity. They wasted their money. They ran their song through the song mill, and it was just the entire process was done wrong, in my opinion. So if you have more questions, guys, about this video, please ask. If anything needs to be explained, please ask. We'll do further videos. I think I've rambled on long enough. But I hope I cleared up some of Mary's questions and helped, you know, teach you guys something a little bit in the process. Rob Shaffer is tagged in the title or description, whatever. So if you guys need a song demoed, you can reach out to Rob, and he can guide you further along the producer side of things. I am an artist. I am a songwriter. I have a degree in production, but that does not make me a producer. I know how to work myself away around the studio and that kind of stuff, and that's just so that way I can take a little bit more of an active involvement with the creation of my work. But I leave that up to the professionals, okay? And Rob is just that. So if you guys need the demo songs, reach out to Rob. He's one resource. I'll think of some other resources and put those other resources in the comments. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know, guys, based on this. If you need me to talk more in depth about anything in any of these questions, just let me know and we'll continue to make videos. All right, I've rambled on long enough. I appreciate you guys watching. Keep writing, keep being artists, keep challenging yourself, guys. Keep challenging yourself. Take advantage of the songwriter challenges that I put out there. And if you need anything, just holler. All right, guys. Cheers.